Welcome back, America. Salena Zito is America's sweetheart. She's also America's tribune of the people. She is really the voice of the people, and she joins me each week, usually on a Monday. I don't know what happened on Monday. Did you have power on Monday? Or were you watching the Ohio State University Buckeyes win the Natty?
No, yes and no. Yes, I had power. No, yes, I also watched the game. But I was thrown off Mondays till Wednesdays. You.
Oh, Danielle is rearranging the schedule for the afternoons. Oh, I get it. I thought maybe you were at the inauguration. Let me give you the opportunity to congratulate the Ohio State University Buckeyes from Yinzerland, Salena Zito.
It was, well, as you know, Western Pennsylvania is 24 miles from Pittsburgh, is 24 miles from the state line of Ohio. And so there are a lot of people that attended the United States, also attended Notre Dame and Penn State. So there was a lot of sort of that Midwest, Great Lakes Midwest enthusiasm all over the place for the past week.
Oh, basically from State College to South Bend was all of college football for 2 weeks, with a little bit of Texas, but they're pretenders to the throne. Salena, people really want to know, what do you make of President Trump's inauguration address, of his first 48 hours and the first 2.5 days of the golden age in America?
Well, I wrote about this for the Examiner. I went around and all over Pennsylvania on Monday, and it was cold. And I talked to a lot of voters that were having parties in their houses or with a bunch of friends. There were a bunch of people having like brunches and champagne and mimosas and beer. And there were parties in hotels, in pubs. It was really quite interesting. I mean, a lot of people were off because it was Martin Luther King Day. And so they took the time to celebrate. And there was just such a sense that inauguration speech, there was a lot of beauty and steeped in tradition and pomp and circumstance, things that have happened for the past 200 plus years. However, that speech was directed right at the middle of America. For all the complaints that I saw about oligarch this and rich that, Trump has an incredible way of understanding what his coalition is, how to address it. And he understood no matter who was surrounding him, it was very important to go past the filter of the press and commentators. No offense, Hugh. No. And speak directly to the people. In particular about Western North Carolina. I've been covering that since Hurricane Helene has hit. That's a part of North Carolina that is in that angle of Appalachia, and it has been very disturbing in the way that they have been literally left out in the cold.
Now, we are Americans, and so we believe in freedom of speech. And I do not think anyone should be mad beyond words at the bishop who was so woke and so condescending to the country, the president, the vice president, and the country assembled in what's supposed to be a National Day of Unity. She goes on a lecture about wokeism stuff. What did you make? And by the way, she got the perfect right to do it. No one's going to harm her. I hope everyone leaves her alone. But what did you make of that?
Well, she did it so that no one leaves her alone. I mean, it is clear that this was planned, that she had booked things to be on afterwards, like The View and like, I think it was CNN, and doing all these interviews. This was very pre-planned. She wanted this attention. And you have to wonder, as someone of faith, what is your ultimate goal? To bring people together and in a moment of a new presidential house, a new administration, or do you want attention for yourself, which I think was the ultimate goal? And she's sort of proving that by her being on every show, left-leaning show in America.
Well, I also noted via the commentary podcast today, her entire diocese has 38,000 people in it. Not just her church. I don't know how many people go to the National Cathedral other than for tours, but they have a good school up there. But I just wonder, it's so presumptuous for people to insert themselves into the national conversation that way. What, does the left have no humility at all?
You know, I just finished the final, a month ago, finished the final chapter of my book, Butler. Hope everybody pre-orders it. And I talked about the reckoning. And will there be one within the press, but also with people like the bishop? Will they understand why they were so rejected in this last election? Or will they continue doing and behaving in the same way they did prior to the election, possibly even ramping it up?
Salena, they're addicts. They're addicts to attention and controversy.
Dopamine. Yeah, it's like a dopamine thing. It's like I need a fix of outrage, and if I don't shoot it in my veins every day, I'm not going to be able to make it to the end of the day. And
well,
how
do we fix that? I can send people who drink too much to AA, people who use drugs to Narcanon. There's gamblers anonymous. What do we do for woke anonymous?
It's sort of like any, that's funny. It's sort of like any addictive trait. Unless you are willing to recognize that and be self-aware that it might be damaging or destructive to yourself, because that's ultimately what it is, and or in her case, the people you serve, it will continue. However, I don't think it is going to be the dominant feature in our culture as it was for the past 4 years. I would argue 8 years, because
I would go back to President Obama's inauguration.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Donald Trump was under assault from day one of his first term, and he's not putting up with it this time, Salena. I think Butler changed him. Do you? Do you write about that in Butler? That Butler might have changed him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it profoundly changed him. And I've talked to him and interviewed him dozens of times. It has profoundly changed him. I hope people get the book.
Oh, that's a hook.
Really,
and we'll be hearing
great.
from Salena on Wednesdays now. Salena Zito, Butler is on its way. Go and pre-order it at Amazon.